Which Week 11 NFL games are must bets? Welcome, football fans, gridiron gamblers, and every one of you degenerates. It's Mitch here with my 5 favorite picks versus the spread for Week 11. My best bets versus the spread for Week 11 of the 2025 NFL season. If that sounds good and you're ready to make some money, spike the like button and don't forget, don't be a jabroni. Subscribe to the channel, man, for all of my best bets, including my spreads, my totals, and even my last minute best bets. Let's get to it. Let's waste no more time. We got to get to the action. It's time to make some money. Our first pick versus the spread. Yup. I know. You don't want to bet on the Packers. You just witnessed the Green Bay Packers play one of the ugliest football games you have ever seen with your 2 eyes. But that is exactly why you should bet the Packers. Nobody wants to bet the Packers right now. Am I wrong? We saw the Packers lay an egg on primetime at home against the champs. We saw the Packers at home against the Carolina Panthers lose outright as double-digit favorites. Now, they're on the road with a point to prove against everybody's favorite bad quarterback, Jameis Winston. I love Jameis Winston. There is no bigger fan of Jameis Winston than Money Mitch, okay? But if I know one thing, I know that Jameis just really does not have the roster around him in New York to have success against this Packers defense, which is a very good defense. We've seen them play great despite their offense not showing up the last few weeks. Jameis, think about it this way, has no receivers. Wan'Dale Robinson is a slot horizontal route runner. He doesn't have vertical threats. He doesn't have perimeter large target receivers on the outside that can win jump balls and contested catches. He doesn't have anyone. Darius Slayton is injured. That doesn't help. We know that Malik Neighbors is out. No Cam Skattebo. No run game in New York. They're not going to be able to run against the Packers. Jameis Winston is going against a defense that has a ferocious 4-man rush in the Packers with a mediocre offensive line. We've seen Jackson Dart be able to look good in this offense because he can buy time, he can create, he can run, he can move. And a big part of the Giants' success offensively post Malik Neighbors has been Jackson Dart's running, pure rushing ability, and it's gotten him injured. Now Brian Daboll isn't there to scheme it up, and Jameis is not a running quarterback. He's not going to be called on a quarterback power up the middle. It's just not going to happen, a read option. So the Giants are going to become a drop back passing team, a traditional offense with Jameis Winston, and they have no receiver talent and very little run game against one of the best defenses in football that can get to you with 4 and drop everybody into soft zones and force Jameis to throw into very tight windows. You know interceptions are coming, and I know sacks are coming. I feel bad for Jameis. I love the guy. I think he is Mr. Aura. I think he is so much fun. But this is not a good matchup for him. And then on the other side, it's a great matchup for the Packers to get back on track. First of all, Matthew Golden, the rookie receiver, might be back for this game. But the main ingredient here is that the Packers should be able to run the ball. And without Tucker Kraft and without Jaden Reed, they need to be able to run the ball to have success and to unlock Jordan Love and unlock Matt LaFleur's offense. which is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, shot play, shot play, shot play, screen, run the ball, shot play. And what I mean by shot play is deep play action crosser, deep down the field. The Packers have very little short passing game and surgicality with Jordan Love, and very little at receiver outside of Christian Watson, who they don't seem to trust with more than 4 targets a game when he makes like 3 insane catches a game. Maybe they unlock him this week. He certainly will have the opportunity against a subpar cornerback group of the Giants. But you look at the Giants, they have some injuries defensively that could haunt them in this game. Kayvon Thibodeau, who is arguably their best run-defending edge rusher. Big loss. Bobby Okereke at linebacker, their best linebacker. Nunez Roches, their largest human on their defensive line. So even more beat-up bodies for this run defense that is 32nd in rush EPA allowed, 30th in success rate, and 29th overall as a defense, the Giants. The Giants have this reputation of being a good defense because they have Brian Burns and they drafted Abdul Carter and they have Dexter Lawrence, but they can't stop anybody on the ground, and it opens up everything through the air. Take what the Niners did, replicate it if you're the Packers. Similar offenses, similar schemes. I think it is definitely replicatable for Josh Jacobs to run all over the Giants, just as CMC did. Multiple bodies injured for the Giants front seven. Even Nubin at safety is injured. I think this is a cover. I think this is a win. Try to find a 6.5 if you can, but I would lay the 7. The Packers should be able to run the ball, possess the ball, allowing them to play action their way to vertical passes. And defensively, once they get the lead, they're going to be able to rush the quarterback, get to Jameis, and cause turnovers. This is a perfect game and matchup for the Packers to flip the script and get back on track. After a couple of bad games, count on Green Bay to cover. I have the Packers -7. My second best bet is going to be the Tampa Bay Bucs getting 5.5. I like the Bucs as underdogs. I like Baker Mayfield as an underdog. And I'm not scared of Buffalo. Maybe the Bills win this game. They're at home, and they've only lost to the Patriots the last 2 seasons at home. But these Bills have been flawed all season. And specifically offensively, they have sputtered. Now, when it comes to their offense, this is the best defense they have played, at least statistically. The Bucs are top 10 defensively in EPA and success rate. They are also, and this is very important against Buffalo, the best run defense in success rate in the NFL. That means they allow the least amount of successful runs against. They're also 5th in EPA versus the run. The Bills' offense is predicated on running the ball. It's predicated on James Cook and Josh Allen running the ball. And especially without Dalton Kincaid, who is out, their receivers struggle to make one-on-one plays. They struggle to separate. They struggle to create beyond Khalil Shakir on a screen pass. Keon Coleman is a bum. Josh Palmer is back, and that should help. But I love this underrated Bucs cornerback group. McCollum is really good. Jamel Dean is really good. I love the rookie Parrish. I like Morrison. I think the Bucs can hang with the Bills in man-to-man coverage. They'll throw multiple spin-the-dial coverages from Todd Bowles between zone blitzes, cover 2, cover 3, man coverage. Todd Bowles is going to show it all at Josh Allen, and they're going to make sure they stop the run with Big Vita Vea and Levante David, the Hall of Famer, swarming the football. The Bills are also a heavy screen team, and the Bucs are excellent tacklers in open space, and they don't allow yards after catch very often unless it's a bomb down the field. And the Bills have no verticality to their offense. The only way that the Bills can really create explosives is via James Cook, like maybe Travion Henderson did for the Patriots. But that's a rarity against the Bucs. That doesn't usually happen on the ground, especially. Bucky Irving could be back for this game. He has been limited all week at practice. Monitor that. Chris Godwin also limited at practice all week. Those would be massive, especially Bucky Irving. I thought the Bucs after the bye looked better on the offensive line, better on offense, and better in the run game. Sean Tucker looked decent running the ball against the best yards allowed defense against the run. Remember, the Bucs are best in success rate, but the Patriots are best in yards allowed. And Sean Tucker looked pretty good. He was the first rusher to go above 50 yards against the Patriots all year. So I think the Bucs can run against this Bills team. A Bills team that is bottom of the league in rush defense. They're one of the worst run defenses in football. They showed that again against Devon Achane last week. Also, Emeka Egbuka looked a lot healthier post-bye week. He's a problem for this defense. Tez Johnson is quick and fast, and he can make explosive plays. Cade Otton works well against zone. And what I love about this matchup for Baker Mayfield is that the Bills will play a lot of zone. They're not going to play a lot of man like Atlanta or New England, where the Bills had a lot of difficulty with that. They're going to play a lot of zone because that's what they do. And Baker rips up zone with precision, accuracy, and patience. And he can also make scramble drill plays, as we know. Baker is feisty. Baker is fiery. He's already been throwing shots at Josh Allen for fun. He doesn't want to lose this game. The Bucs have been slipping. And I think this is the best defense overall from a talent perspective that the Bills have played. They are great in the main area you have to defend the Bills, which is the run game. They have an accurate quarterback who can make a lot of throws against zone coverage. They might get reinforcements at playmaker, and the offensive line at the tackle positions with Luke Gedeke back at right tackle, who just returned against the Patriots last week and had been out for a couple weeks before that. They can slow down Greg Rousseau and slow down Joey Bosa, the main pass rushers of the Bills, who work on the edges. Because Tristan Wirfs is on the left and Gedeke's on the right. The Bucs do have weaknesses in the interior offensive line, but the Bills aren't great without Ed Oliver from a pass rushing perspective on the interior. So I like the ability for the Bucs to match up with the Bills, keep this game close, and even if they lose, I think they'll lose by 3 or 4. So give me Tampa Bay plus 5.5 at Buffalo to fight hard and maybe even win the game. Next, our third pick will be the Vikings. Try to find a 2.5, but if you can't, lay the 3. Okay? Notice how I don't always give the best number in my picks because I want you guys to find a number that is reasonable. Okay? I like the Vikings here. I think they're the more talented team. I think they're the far better defense, and they're at home. And they beat the Bears earlier in the year in comeback fashion with J.J. McCarthy. The Vikings are coming off a game where J.J. played pretty poorly, but I think people are not taking into account that the Ravens are kind of back, and their secondary and their defense is kind of back, and the secondary of the Ravens is really good. And I don't think the Bears have a good secondary at all. Jaquan Brisker has not practiced this week so far, one of their best, if not their best safety. Kyler Gordon, their nickel corner, who's very underrated, is out on IR. Jalen Johnson, also their best corner, on IR. So this is a very beat-up secondary for the Chicago Bears, who play Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Jalen Naylor, one of the best receiving cores in football, especially after Justin Jefferson had one of his worst games I've ever seen him play. I expect him to play much better. And I just don't think the Bears can cover these guys. So JJ should have a lot of open receivers. And Kevin O'Connell against this defense will have balance at his disposal. I do think they're going to run the ball better and run the ball more in this game. The Vikings are quietly 11th in rush success rate offensively. And the Bears are really bad against the run. Their defensive line has a limited pass rush. They are not very good against the run. And that opens up plays down the field for JJ, who's taking a lot of aggressive shots down the field. And he could hit some of these in this game. Another reason I like the Vikings, this is the best defense that the Bears have played all season. They will now play them twice. You look at who Caleb Williams has been feasting on, where they barely beat the Bengals. They barely beat the Giants last week. right? They barely beat the Raiders and probably flukily beat the Raiders, the Commanders, and all these teams. But they've played the Saints defense, the Raiders defense, the Commanders defense, the Giants defense, the Cowboys defense, the Bengals defense. These are not good defenses. The Bengals offense is inflated because of it. The Vikings can slow down the run better than pretty much all these teams other than maybe the Saints. And they are the best defense collectively, 11th in EPA and 10th in success rate, and definitely the best defense against the pass because of Brian Flores' brilliance from a blitzing perspective. Caleb can escape sacks, but what I do believe Caleb will also have is a little bit of confusion trying to find the open receiver with his pre-snap processing being very slow. And he's also inaccurate, so he's going to put the ball in harm's way numerous times. I think this is a game that the Vikings win. They're at home. They've lost too many games at home, and they usually have a really strong home field. I think Minnesota lay the 2.5, lay the 3. They come out on top and sweep the Bears this week. Our fourth pick will be the San Francisco 49ers, -3 at the Cardinals. Brock Purdy is back. Brock Purdy is back as the quarterback of the 49ers. And honestly, if you think about it, if Brock Purdy wasn't 100%, 110%, would the 49ers even play him? Because Mac Jones has been playing really well. He played really well last week against the Rams. So if he wasn't 110%, and that's why I'm confident that Brock Purdy is healthy, because Mac Jones would be playing this game if not, because Mac Jones played really well. He even played really well last week, right? He was like 33 for 39 for 300 yards. So Brock Purdy is healthy. And the other thing is, can the Niners even afford to lose this game with Brock Purdy? If Brock Purdy does lose, what does that mean for the Niners? It means quarterback controversy. Because fans are going to be talking about, why is Mac not playing this game? He beat the Cardinals. That's what people are going to say. That's what fans are going to say. You know it, right? So can they even afford to lose this game? Also, with Brock Purdy back, Ricky Pearsall is back. Ricky Pearsall is probably the most underrated receiver talent in the NFL. He's back. When he left, I think in week 5 or 6, he was top 5 in receiving yards in the NFL. He is a really good player. And now the 49ers will have a lot of reinforcements. Last time they beat the Cardinals 17-16. No Brock Purdy, it was Mac Jones. Okay? They didn't have Kittle or Jawan Jennings in that game. They will have, in this game, Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, and Kendrick Bourne. They haven't had all of those pieces, and Demarcus Robinson. They haven't had all of those pieces all season. This is the healthiest the Niners offense has been all year, and they still don't have Brandon Ayuk. This offense has been playing really well lately. They played really well against the Rams in a loss. They played exceptional against the Giants a couple of weeks ago. The offense has been humming with Mac Jones. And I think Brock Purdy is a lot like Mac Jones. Mac might be quicker, more decisive in terms of his decision-making, maybe even a tad more accurate, but Brock Purdy is more explosive. He can create more with his legs. He can create more with his arm downfield, and he's going to create chunk gains that have been missing in this offense. And then you look at all the injuries for the Cardinals. Not seen at practice on Thursday. Taylor Demerson, one of their safeties, Will Johnson, their best corner, Baron Browning, one of their edge rushers, and Jonah Williams, their right tackle. Max Melton, also a concussion, wearing a yellow non-contact jersey. Josh Sweat, also not at practice on Thursday. So their best pass rusher, their best corner, their second best pass rusher, their third best safety, and their right tackle. Also, Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, their best receiver, and the only threatening vertical player in their offense. So with that being said, the Cardinals are going to have to lean on running the ball and going to have to lean on play action pass, going to have to lean on Trey McBride. With Jacoby Brissett at quarterback who can't move, Robert Saleh should be able to rely on his secondary to play tight coverage and blitz Jacoby Brissett, who can't move and get off the spot. If you force Brissett off the spot, he's not a good quarterback. He's kind of like a much worse version of Jared Goff. It's kind of what he is. And without Marvin Harrison, who's been his best, most reliable receiver for him, Zay Jones is also beat up. They don't have much. Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, this is not a good receiving core. And their right tackle's hurt. I know the Niners defense has been terrible lately, But the Cardinals don't have a lot of balance. They're 28th in rush success rate offensively. They're not a great running team. They're one of the worst this year. And they have a backup quarterback with no mobility. I think Kyler would serve them better in this game. He actually has played pretty well against the Niners in the past, and he's not playing. Jacoby's playing. So I think this is a great matchup for the 49ers here. Beat up Cardinals. Niners are low-key healthier than they've been in a long time, offensively and defensively. And I think that will show on the field in Arizona. So I think the 49ers win. I think the 49ers cover this game. A lot of people will pick the Cardinals because of the divisional matchup on the road, but I think people are overlooking how healthy the Niners are going into this game compared to the Cardinals. And our fifth and final pick is the Cowboys on Monday night. Might be my favorite pick. The Dallas Cowboys are coming off of their bye. The Raiders are coming off a 10-day rest from Thursday night where they were absolutely atrocious on offense, scoring 7 points at Denver. Dallas is minus 3.5 at Vegas on a Monday night. This is a showcase game for the Cowboys to be able to show us if they can maybe reach the playoffs. They will be a completely different defense when they take the field on Monday night. Quinnen Williams, one of the best defensive linemen in football, is now a Dallas Cowboy and has had an entire bye week to get installed within the defense, which is a fairly simple defense, which is very close to the one that he used under Robert Saleh, or played in under Robert Saleh. And that's a great fit for him. On top of that, he is the best run-defending defensive tackle according to PFF's grading so far this year, which would really help the Cowboys' run D. When you think about the Cowboys' defensive line now, their rotation is going to be vicious and effective. Odighizuwa is one of the best pass-rushing D tackles, but he's undersized at D tackle on the inside. On early downs, they can now move Osa Odighizuwa to the edge to help them against the run where he played earlier in his career, and play Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams on the inside to make them a lot larger and better against the run on early downs. And they can put Clowney on the other side, who's always been a good run defender. On passing downs, they can take Kenny Clark off the field, have Quinnen Williams and Odighizuwa on the inside, and have Dante Fowler and Ezoraku, their rookie pass rusher, get to the quarterback. This is a very good look for the Cowboys. Their defensive line is going to be on fire, and they're playing against one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. Quinnen Williams is going to have an immediate impact. He's that good of a football player. I believe that. They also traded for Logan Wilson of the Bengals, who is a smart linebacker and should be able to play a role for them early on. But even more so, Overshown, their best linebacker, returns this week. He is an absolute demon with great speed, agility, and ferociousness, flying sideline to sideline. He should help the much-needed linebacker position that has been so bad for the Cowboys. So 2 upgrades at linebacker, a huge upgrade to the D-line. Siobhan Revel, their rookie corner, could also play in this game. I really liked him coming out of college for what it's worth. Also, their safeties are both healthy. Hooker and Wilson have been missing a lot of action lately. Malik Hooker, their free safety, to not give up big plays, and Donovan Wilson, their strong safety. So that is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 new players that will be playing for one of the worst defenses in football. Could make them a lot closer to mid. But another reason to like the Cowboys is they're playing in a dome against a defense that is very average, and Dak Prescott has a supreme strength in his receivers, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, fresh, rested, off of a bye against one of the worst secondaries in football. And it's not like the Raiders have a great pass rush outside of Max Crosby. So Dak Prescott in a dome, lighting up the skies. Javonte brings balance as well. I think that the Cowboys can protect their quarterback better. I think Dak is much better than Geno this year. Dallas has the much better weapons. Dallas, to me, has the better D-line in this game. Dallas has the better O-line in this game. I think Dallas is the much better team, and I think they show that on this field against the Raiders. This is a win like 30-20, in my opinion. So I got Dallas minus 3.5 at the Raiders as my final best bet. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, Gronk spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you're looking for all of my bets every week, check out Patreon, link in the description, as well as the pinned comment. It's Mitch. Let's make some money. Peace.